Even though most of us have been talking about Project 2025 for months and months and months and months, it was only recently that the national media decided to pick up this story and, of course, talk about how dangerous it would be for the United States of America if Donald Trump got back in office. And part of the reason for this, of course, is the fact that last week you had Kevin Roberts, the leader of the Heritage Foundation, which authored Project 2025, come out and say that, hey, we're in the middle of the Second American Revolution and it will remain bloodless, he said, for as long as the left allows it to be. That seemingly direct threat against a huge portion of the American public is what finally got the attention of the media, and they decided, wait a minute, we ought to take a look at this. And of course, the more they've reported on it, the more they uncover, the less the public likes it. And in fact, the more the public rejects it. Which is what led to last Friday, Donald Trump coming out and saying, I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it, before wishing them success in all that they do. So then, of course, we had all the stories about how Donald Trump's own people, Stephen Miller, his campaign spokesperson, have appeared in ads for them. Donald Trump's super PAC is running ads touting Project 2025. So Trump's lying his face off as per usual. But there's a reason this guy is now trying to distance himself from this horrific plan. And this was actually laid out by a Vanity Fair journalist, Molly Jong-Fast, who said this. Imagine how toxic the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025 must be to get disavowed by Trump, the guy who has otherwise mused about being a dictator and planning mass deportations if elected. And that's despite the fact that Trump shares many policy goals with Project 2025, as the Washington Post put it, from dismantling the Department of Education to scaling back climate regulations to gutting the civil service. The Guardian, too, found that Trump's platform, dubbed Agenda 47, overlaps with Project 2025 on most major policy issues. The Trump ties run deep within Project 2025. The Project 2025 proposal, noted Politico, includes giving the president full power over quasi-independent agencies such as the Federal Communications Commission, which makes and enforces rules for television and internet companies that have been the bane of Trump's political existence in the last few years. It calls for breaking up the FBI, defunding the Justice Department, and eliminating the Department of Education, arguing that, quote, federal education policy should be limited. Fortunately for the country, Jong-Fast continues, Trump wasn't prepared to win the White House in 2016 and was wildly disorganized in office. 8 years later, however, there should be no uncertainty around how Trump might govern, with his minions crafting a far-right Christian nationalist agenda that makes Richard Nixon look like Barack Obama. Now, the reason I wanted to take the time to read all of that to everybody was just to remind you what we're up against on the other side. As she said, in 2016, Trump didn't think he'd win. He had no plans. He had no idea what he was doing. He put people in place, and then those people kept telling him no, so they'd get fired, replaced, repeat the cycle endlessly until he finally leaves office with the coup. But he's not going to do that this time. He just doesn't want you to know his plans. That's why he's pretending, I know nothing about Project 2025. Yeah, you do. You've been there every step of the way with them. Your campaign has been there. You're on the exact same page as they are. And the public is finally learning about this. The media slept on this story for months and months. This entire year, they've been sleeping on the story. I have talked about it repeatedly. I know everybody else on the left has talked about it. I've had people in the comments talk more about Project 2025 long before all of this happened. But this is where we are today. And if the media does their job and keeps telling people not just, hey, Project 2025 is bad, outlining, like Jong-Fast did, what's in it, then they will know how horrible it is and hopefully reject not just Project 2025, but also Donald Trump and conservatism itself. Well, folks, we have crossed that 1 million subscriber milestone, but rest assured, we are just getting started here at Ring of Fire. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel and Make sure to like, share, and comment on the videos.